This may come as a surprise to you, but Colorado's San Luis Valley is one of the most prolific spots for UFO sightings in the country. Paranormal investigators say it's a hotbed for UFO activity. This sparked the interest of a retired cattle rancher about a decade ago. She built a UFO watchtower in the tiny town of Hooper just so people can gaze at the stars and talk about their experiences. 9 News storyteller Kevin Torres recently visited the tower and says it's out of this world.
Hooper? It's the big booming town.
Down Highway 17, just past Moffett,
Your eyes never get tired of looking at the mountains, never.
you'll find a tiny town with a big secret.
So have you ever had a UFO experience?
It might seem unusual,
A lot.
but in this part of Colorado, the abnormal is considered normal.
I started this in 2000, mainly because of all the stories from the locals.
Judy Messeline runs the UFO Watchtower.
We've had 59 sightings from just here. I've gotten to see 26 of them.
It's a place where believers can come to witness something extraordinary.
I still can't tell anybody it's little green men. But you wait, one day they're going to land out here and I'm going to prove it.
A lot of the encounters have been captured
This one was taken at one of our conferences.
by Judy and her visitors.
And they watched this object here go down and get that one, suck it into it, and leave.
Most sightings occur in the valley,
This one here was taken down by Moffett.
but every so often you'll see them in more populated areas.
Ooh, see, they're in Denver too.
Guests spend most of their time up on the Watchtower's deck,
I sit out here daily and say, beam me out of here, Scotty. Take me with you.
hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever may be floating up above.
Since we opened, over 25 psychics have been by, and they've all said the same thing, that there's 2 large vortexes here.
Down below,
So I've told folks to leave something in the garden and get their energy here as well. So we got trinkets from all over the world down in that place.
it's a different story.
And folks will take pictures of what they left.
It's called a UFO garden. No flowers, just items. Lots and lots of bizarre items.
They are unexplainable, totally unexplainable.
There isn't any other place in the world quite like it.
But they've had documented sightings down here since the 1600s.
In the galaxy, who knows? But here in Hooper, it's considered a life changer.
It has changed my life. and it's for the good, not the bad, for the good.
In the San Luis Valley, this is Kevin Torres, 9 News.
The last noticeable sighting in Colorado was a few months ago in Lafayette. Messeline hasn't witnessed anything in the valley in a few months. To learn more about the UFO Watchtower, head to 9news.com and click on Kevin's story.
It's only a matter of time before a little girl from Windsor is no longer with us. Delaney Wadsworth was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor this past summer. So rare, only 4 children in Colorado have it. Tonight, 9 News reporter Kevin Torres shares Delaney's story with us and tells us about her dying wish.
Oh, that's a lot of paint.
There are moments in our lives when the simple things
Paintbrush just for you.
tend to cover up the difficult ones.
Look at my hands. That's not funny. Look at that's my girl.
We search for ways to create life,
You do the most beautiful paintings.
even when life is fading away.
We didn't want to miss out on 1 second of our life.
It was only a few months ago when Delaney Wadsworth was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor.
3 months ago, it was only about the size of a golf ball.
Since then, it has grown to the size of a grapefruit.
It decides to start growing. It's fast.
It's like we're not ready yet, you know, everything's happening too fast.
Delaney's parents know they're running a race they cannot win.
We don't know how to say goodbye.
All they can do is enjoy the moments along the way.
We took her to do as much stuff as we knew how to do.
They traveled, visited family, bought her whatever she wanted.
She wanted to have some farm animals and stuff, so we got her some goats and a lamb.
They even gave her a birthday 1 month in advance, knowing she probably wouldn't live to see the actual date.
I just cried. And I still cry. Because I'm really going to miss her. You're going to miss your children. They're not supposed to go before you.
If there is any comfort for Delaney's parents, it's knowing their daughter has accepted and welcomed her fate.
And she says, "Oh, Mommy, I'm so excited I'm dying." And I said, "Baby, who told you that?" She said, "God told me."
It's only a matter of days, weeks at best, before Delaney's sun begins to set.
I can't imagine life without her.
As she prepares to leave our world, she has one last wish.
Her dying wish would be for everyone to just give each other a hug.
For all of us to bring a little color into our lives.
And to just let things go.
In Windsor, this is Kevin Torres, 9 News.
Her story is certainly touching hearts. The tumor Delaney is dying from affects 200 children nationwide. There's a 1 in a million chance a child will be diagnosed with it.
This next story is about a lady who gives edible art a whole new meaning. What started as a hobby decades ago for Laura Schiller has now turned into a career. We originally heard about her talent through a news tip, and when 9 News storyteller Kevin Torres went to profile her, he was absolutely amazed by what he found.
It was a hobby. It started as a hobby.
Let's get away
I've spent hours down here just creating.
from all of life's challenges.
It's real easy to get lost in this stuff.
For only an hour,
I'm always amazed by what I come up with.
a couple minutes,
My hands do exactly as I need them to.
even just a second.
I've been blessed with that.
Well, perhaps more than a second.
It goes really well.
It's really all Laura Schiller asks for.
Wonder if white would be better or if a color would be better.
If hobbies are unique,
Pretty easy.
then consider this one as unique as the person who does it. Since she was a little girl, Laura only wanted 2 things:
You know, I always wanted to be an artist. Even when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an artist.
to be different,
But what kind of artist, I didn't know.
and to separate her art from anyone else's.
And it was a good thing that I picked that up and took it when I did, because my parents didn't tell me, oh, did you know your third cousin does egg art? I was like, well, it's a good thing you told me later on, because I would have tossed that out too.
Well, she tried to separate it.
And the funny thing was, though, I found out, well, she does completely different egg art.
Truth is, you have to be precise
And this is a cool egg.
when turning an egg into art.
And this is my kaleidoscoping is what I've done here.
Armed with a drill,
I use what they call as a turbo carver, okay? And this is a high-speed drill, so like your dentist would have.
and a lot of patience, Laura carves design after design into her subjects.
Sometimes I don't have a plan on some of my eggs. I'll just do it, and it, you know, just whatever comes up or comes out of it is what it is.
She has a simple goal:
You know, I see my art doing something good.
to inspire.
I also get some kind of sad moments too. I had one lady who, and this is quite a few years back, she lost her son, and she asked me, she said, would you do an egg for me in memory of him? And I said, yes, of course.
It's moments like this that keep Laura going.
The gentleman standing right beside the president is the chairman of the American Egg Board.
Then there are the happier moments, like the time when Laura designed an egg for the First Lady.
I'm guessing, and I'm not for certain, but I'm thinking that because that egg was presented to her, it might go in their presidential library, which to me is just, wow.
Truly an honor.
That was huge.
Laura takes pride in her work,
I thought, oh, this is neat. You know, this is fun.
as any artist should.
It's a joy. I love this stuff.
Having carved nearly 1,000 eggs by now, she often wonders what's next.
Anything corny and quirky, you know.
After all, this kind of artist is only as good as her last egg. In Broomfield, this is Kevin Torres, 9 News.
If you would like to learn more about Laura's art, head to 9news.com and click on her story.
That's pretty neat.
Very delicate.
Wild horse advocates are celebrating a big win. The Bureau of Land Management has decided to cut back on the number of wild horses it will round up next year. It's aiming for 3,000 head fewer. This comes after Congress voted to reduce the agency's budget by several $1 million. This past fall, Wyoming held its largest roundup in state history, and we sent 9 News reporter Kevin Torres to Rock Springs to take a closer look at the debate.
It is a symbol of the West.
There once was a time when the southwest corner of Wyoming was as wild as the horses that roam its range.
We had thousands and thousands of horses in Wyoming when I returned here in 1979.
Like many wild horse advocates, Janine Stallings knows how the 1970s changed the animals' lives.
I'd like to see wild horses left alone, period.
In 1971, the Wild Free Roaming Horses and Burros Act gave the Bureau of Land Management power to control wild horses.
The first time I saw a wild horse was when I went to a gathering outside of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
The towns surrounding Rock Springs are home to hundreds of wild horses, a number far lower than it used to be. In his free time, Jay DeWart cares for 4 of the animals, but at work he manages many more.
We take pride in what we do, and
DeWart is in charge of the Divide Basin herd for the BLM.
in the appropriate management level is 400 to 600 animals, and at this time we're over double the high end of the appropriate management level.
DeWart says it's necessary to round up the wild horses so they don't take over the land.
These public lands are multiple use, and there's a lot more creatures that depend on it, especially at this time of year.
They're not damaging the land. Cattle do far much more damage to the land.
Advocates believe the BLM is helping ranchers who want more land for their cattle. They say there's a money exchange going on.
I call them the Bureau of Livestock Management.
It's kind of a lack of education on their part for saying what they're saying. It's like politics and religion, you know, no matter what you say to them, they're going to believe what they believe, and they're going to say it.
Advocates are saying a lot, and they're challenging the BLM in every way possible.
They flat lie about everything.
Especially when it comes to the BLM's description of the wild horses. The BLM says the horses are starving and don't have much to eat.
The horses that are coming off the range are fat, sassy horses. They look like horses in any pasture around here, maybe better.
There is not enough feed out there or water.
Amy Ruse is in charge of the BLM's adoption program in Wyoming. When the horses are rounded up, they're brought here to a horse holding pen in Rock Springs.
If you have kids, you send your kids off to schools and prepare them for life, and I kind of look at the horses the same way. I don't look at it as we're breaking up families. I feel like we're bringing them horses to families.
Advocates will argue horses are not humans, they're animals. And out of the 2,000 wild horses that were rounded up in this corner of Wyoming last fall, the BLM says only 25 of them have been adopted out.
Like it or not every single one of those horses is an adoptable horse.
Then there is the concern over the collection process. Each year, dozens of wild horses are killed during roundups.
They're utterly terrified. They're utterly terrified.
The BLM says most of the horses die because they're sick.
They all have different opinions.
It is a tough debate that will likely carry on for years to come. While the BLM looks for ways to round up horses, advocates will continue to search for ways to keep the West wild.
We should not ever put any animal through that.
In the southwest corner of Wyoming, this is Kevin Torres, 9 News.
Those roundups cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. We would certainly like to hear what you think of all this. Head to 9news.com. You can leave your comments there. And that's also where you can read a second related story that Kevin Torres put together on the debate over horse slaughter.